All right, so get this. We're diving into this prediction that claims Donald Trump.
Trump?
Yeah, appearing on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, wow.
Could be like the spark that ignites some crazy global chaos starting on December 3rd, 2024.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's really captivating about this prediction is its source.
Okay.
It's this mysterious tool called WebBot, which supposedly predicted this back in 2009.
Okay. Color me intrigued.
Yeah.
But before we go full doomsday prepper,
Right.
let's back up a little bit. What exactly is WebBot?
Sure.
And who's the mastermind behind it?
So WebBot is the brainchild of this guy, Cliff High.
Okay.
He's a data scientist who believes he can tap into the collective unconscious of the internet to predict future events.
Oh, wow.
So essentially it's a software program that analyzes massive amounts of online data,
Okay.
looking for patterns in keywords and emotional cues.
So it's like scanning the digital chatter for hints about what's to come.
Exactly.
Kind of like how social media's sentiment analysis can be used to predict stock market trends.
Exactly. But WebBot takes it a step further.
Right.
Cliff High argues that by analyzing the subtle shifts in language and emotions expressed online, we can actually get a glimpse into future events before they happen.
Okay. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So how does this all connect to Trump and Rogan?
Right.
Did WebBot predict a specific date for this interview?
It didn't pinpoint an exact date,
Okay.
but according to Cliff High WebBot data from 2009,
Okay.
highlighted this potential Trump-Rogan interview as a significant temporal marker,
Temporal marker.
meaning a key event that would set a chain of events in motion.
And those events being global chaos commencing on December 3rd, 2024.
Precisely, Cliff High refers to this period as 39 days to melee.
39 days to melee.
Yeah, think of it as a period of escalating conflict,
Okay.
societal unrest, and global upheaval.
Whoa, hold on. Melee. That's a pretty intense term.
It is.
Can you unpack that a little more for me?
Sure.
What does that look like in practice?
We'll dig into the specifics later. But picture this economic turmoil, cyber attacks, supply chain disruptions,
Oh, wow.
political tensions boiling over,
Yeah.
even natural disasters intensifying the chaos.
Okay. That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
But before we spiral into an existential crisis here,
Right.
let's talk about the source of this prediction.
Sure.
If we're going to entertain this idea at all,
Well,
we need to know if this WebBot thing has any credibility.
right. That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
WebBot has a checkered past with both claimed hits and notable misses.
Okay.
Cliff High points to predictions like the 2003 Northeast blackout and the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami as evidence of WebBot's accuracy.
But wasn't there also a pretty high-profile miss back in 2012?
Yes.
Something about a global cataclysm?
Yes, the infamous 2012 prediction.
Yeah.
WebBot, along with many other sources, predicted a major global event on December 21st, 2012.
Right.
Obviously, that didn't pan out quite as dramatically as some had anticipated.
So it sounds like WebBot has a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to accuracy,
Yeah,
which makes this whole December 3rd prediction even more perplexing.
precisely. And that's why we need to approach this with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah.
But even if we set aside the question of its accuracy for a moment,
Oh.
WebBot offers a fascinating lens through which to view our anxieties about the future.
I'm with you on that. It's like a digital crystal ball reflecting our deepest fears and hopes about what's to come.
Exactly.
Okay.
So with that in mind,
Yeah.
let's delve deeper into this 39 days to melee
Okay.
and explore what this potential period of chaos could entail.
Okay, you've piqued my curiosity.
All right.
Let's unpack this melee and see if we can make sense of this digital prophecy.
Let's do it. So, all right, let's break down this 39 days to melee concept.
Okay.
What's interesting here is that it's not just about isolated incidents of chaos.
Uh-huh.
Cliff High paints a picture of a world spiraling into disorder across multiple domains.
Okay, so paint that picture for me. What specific elements contribute to this so-called melee?
He frequently highlights economic instability as a key factor.
Okay.
Imagine widespread currency devaluation, stock market crashes,
Yeah.
even disruptions to global trade and supply chains.
So basically the kind of economic turmoil that could trigger social unrest
Yes.
and widespread panic.
Precisely. And that social unrest is another major element of the melee.
Okay.
For protests, riots, even potential clashes between different ideological groups.
And you mentioned cyber attacks earlier. What role do they play in this scenario?
Cliff High suggests that cyber attacks could cripple critical infrastructure,
Wow.
leading to widespread blackouts, communication breakdowns,
Right.
and further societal destabilization. Like it's like a digital domino effect, amplifying the existing chaos.
Okay, so we've got economic collapse, social unrest, cyber warfare.
Right.
Is there anything else in this cocktail of chaos?
Well, he also throws natural disasters into the mix.
Oh, wow.
Think earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions,
Yeah.
events that could further strain resources and exacerbate the existing turmoil.
So it's not just human-made chaos, but potentially nature throwing its own punches as well.
Exactly. And keep in mind, Cliff High sees all these elements as interconnected,
Oh, yeah?
feeding off each other and creating a perfect storm of global destabilization.
That's a pretty bleak picture.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if this melee is supposedly triggered by a Trump appearance on Rogan.
Right.
What role does Trump himself play in this scenario?
Yeah.
Is he the orchestrator of the chaos, or is he just a catalyst?
Well, it's a question that's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Cliff High hasn't explicitly defined Trump's role, but it does raise some interesting questions.
Yeah.
Is Trump a knowing participant in this unfolding drama?
Right.
Or is he merely a figurehead, a symbol around which these events coalesce?
It's like he's this lightning rod attracting all this energy and chaos.
That's a great way to put it, and whether he's intentional or not, his presence seems to amplify the existing tensions and divisions within society.
Okay, so let's say for argument's sake that this melee does come to pass. What happens after those 39 days?
Right.
Is it just the end of the world as we know it?
Not necessarily. Cliff High envisions the melee as a transitional phase, a period of intense upheaval that ultimately leads to the emergence of what he calls the sci-fi world.
Okay, hold up, sci-fi world. That sounds like we're going from dystopian nightmare to futuristic utopia in the blink of an eye. Explain yourself.
Think of it as a world where technological advancements that seem like science fiction today become mainstream reality.
Okay.
Breakthroughs in energy production, genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, even the possibility of extraterrestrial contact.
So from chaos to a world straight out Star Trek. Sum me up, please.
It's certainly a more optimistic outlook than the melee.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that Cliff High views these predictions as possibilities, not certainties.
So we have this WebBot prediction pointing to a potential Trump-Rogan interview that triggers 39 days of global chaos.
Right.
Followed by the emergence of a sci-fi world.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It is.
But before we dive deeper into this sci-fi world,
Yeah.
I have to ask, where does WebBot get its information from?
Yeah.
What kind of data is it actually analyzing?
Well, that's where things get a bit mysterious.
Oh, I love a good mystery. Do tell.
Cliff High is pretty tight-lipped about the specifics
Okay.
of WebBot's data sources. He claims it scans a vast swath of the internet,
Okay.
including forums, blogs, news sites, social media,
Wow.
even the dark web.
So it's like a digital vacuum cleaner sucking up every bit of information it can find.
Exactly. But the real magic,
Yeah.
according to Cliff High, lies in WebBot's ability to sift through this mountain of data
Okay.
and extract meaningful patterns,
Right.
particularly in the language and emotional tone of online conversations.
Okay. I'm starting to get a sense of how this works,
Yeah.
but I still have a lot of questions.
Sure.
For instance, how does WebBot distinguish between, say, a genuine expression of fear
Right.
and someone just using like hyperbole online?
Yeah.
You know, like when people say, I'm literally dying, when they just mean something's funny.
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of the debate
Okay.
surrounding WebBot's validity.
Yeah.
Skeptics argue that it's impossible to accurately gauge emotional sentiment
Right.
from text alone,
Yeah.
especially given the nuances and complexities of human language.
So is WebBot just picking up on these surface level expressions
Yeah.
and potentially misinterpreting them?
That's one of the criticisms leveled against it. Critics argue that its predictions are often vague and open to interpretation,
Okay.
making it difficult to assess their accuracy.
And there's also the issue of self-fulfilling prophecies, right?
Exactly.
If enough people believe a prediction,
Yes.
their actions could inadvertently make it come true.
Precisely. It's like the observer effect in quantum physics.
Oh, well.
The act of observing something can actually influence its outcome.
So we're back to this question of whether we should take this December 3rd prediction seriously. It's all very intriguing. But it's hard to shake the feeling that we're teetering on the edge of conspiracy theory territory here.
I understand your hesitation, and to be honest, I share some of your skepticism.
Okay.
But even if we set aside the question of WebBot's accuracy for a moment,
Yeah.
I think it's valuable to explore the themes it's highlighting.
What do you mean?
Well, regardless of whether we're headed for a melee or a sci-fi world,
Uh-huh.
it's undeniable that we're living in a time of rapid technological change,
Right.
political polarization, and ecological uncertainty.
You're not wrong. It feels like the world is changing faster than we can keep up with.
Exactly. And I think WebBot, in its own strange way, is tapping into those anxieties.
Okay.
It's a reflection of our collective fears and hopes about the future.
So maybe it's less about the accuracy of the predictions
Yeah.
and more about the deeper questions they're raising.
Precisely. WebBot is like a digital Rorschach test,
Okay.
revealing our anxieties about where we're headed as a society.
That's a really insightful way to look at it.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the takeaway for our listeners?
Right.
Should they be stocking up on canned goods and preparing for the worst?
I wouldn't recommend going full doomsday prepper just yet, but I do think it's wise to be aware
Okay.
of the potential challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
Yeah.
Stay informed, think critically about the information you consume,
Right.
and most importantly, engage in constructive dialogue about the future you want to create.
Well said. And perhaps most importantly, don't let a digital oracle dictate your reality.
Right.
The future is still unwritten, and we all have a role to play in shaping it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the world of WebBot and internet prophecy.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay engaged.